Ever wish your bard could stroll into the tavern right at level 1 and already feel like the world's greatest multitasker? In today's deep dive, we're using the 2024 Player's Handbook to build the absolute best early game bard. Species, background, feats, spells, and subclass, we're going over it all. You'll be dominating almost every spell check, stealing every spotlight, and still have enough song left over to save the entire party. Yes, we're basically min-maxing charisma with jazz hands. Let's go. Now the 2024 Player's Handbook turbocharges bards. Bardic Inspiration can still be given out and added after a failed roll, but now instead of a 10-minute window to use it, you get a full hour. And your expertise ability drops in now at level 2 instead of level 3. That makes low-level play for bards more explosive than in 2014, perfect for our optimized bard build. Cue the confetti cannons made of sheet music. So to build this bard, we're going to go with a background of entertainer. This gives us acrobatic and performance proficiencies, as well as the musician origin feat. Now the musician gets to hand out heroic inspiration every short rest. The number of times you can do this is going to be equal to your proficiency bonus. It's like handing out musical energy drinks between fights. Now, if you build with the standard array, I'm going to suggest obviously our 15 in charisma. Then I would go with the 14 in dex, the 12 in wisdom, 10 intelligence, and 8 in strength for our dump stat. But for this optimized build, as long as your DM allows, I'm going with the point buy system. That's going to allow us to duplicate some of these scores. So using point buy, I'm going to buy a 15 for charisma, a 14 again for dex. That's because dex is used to determine our armor class and our initiative, but I'm going to duplicate the 14 and get another one for constitution. This is going to give us an extra hit point to start. I'm going to buy a 13 for wisdom because that gives us a +2 to wisdom stats instead of +1. And I have perception and insight proficiencies. Then I'm going to put an 8 in intelligence and an 8 in strength. These scores cost 0 on point buy, and that's 27 points. So what about choosing the ideal species for our bard? You might think an elf or even an Aasimar might bring some really flavorful perks, but they just can't beat the raw economy that a human provides. Sometimes being basic is powerful. For our bonus origin feat from being a human, we're going to grab Lucky, and it essentially makes us a reroll vending machine. Now when it comes to weapons, equipment, and gear, instead of taking the standard items, I'm going to go with the 90 gold so I can purchase some items that I want for this build. I'm going to buy studded leather armor for a boost to my AC, wield a light crossbow so I can attack from a distance, and pick up 2 daggers just in case we get into melee with someone. I'm also going to pick up 2 healing kits, which provide 10 uses each to stabilize someone so that they don't have to make death saves. If we're just meeting, I'm Kristen and this is Kristen's Epic Adventures. Make sure you hit the subscription bell so you don't miss upcoming videos about tabletop role-playing games. And hitting the bell notifies you of new uploads so you don't miss anything. So what's our level 1 game plan here? Remember, Bardic Inspiration, that D6 now lasts an hour, and at level 1 we also get our spell casting. And we'll go over spell choices in just a minute. So for our skill proficiencies, we have Persuasion, Insight, Perception, Performance, Deception, and Acrobatics. 6 really strong proficiencies right from minute 1. Let's talk spells. We're going to get 2 cantrips and 4 first level spells. Here's my picks. We're going to grab Vicious Mockery, always a favorite. Who doesn't like doing psychic damage while you hurl insults at the enemy? But the 2024 Vicious Mockery has been upgraded to do a D6 damage instead of the D4 that was allowed in 2014. We're also going to grab the new spell Starry Wisp. This is an action that can be done within 60 feet and it's instantaneous. You launch a mote of light at a creature or object within range, make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, you deal 1d8 radiant damage, and until the end of your next turn, they emit dim light in a 10-foot radius and can't benefit from the invisible condition. The damage to this also gets upgraded at levels 5, 11, and 17. Now for our slotted spells, we're going to start off with Fairy Fire. This is a concentration spell that can last up to a minute, so it goes great in combat. That's 10 full rounds of combat, giving all your allies advantage against an enemy that you've hit with Fairy Fire, provided they fail that saving throw. We're also going to pick up the Sleep spell. Great for putting some enemies to sleep. However, it has changed since the 2014 edition. In the old version, you rolled some dice, giving you a pool of hit points to spread amongst enemies and put them to sleep. That isn't the case anymore in the 2024 edition. They're actually making wisdom saves, and they've kind of got to be clustered together. And it's now also a concentration spell. We're also going to pick up Dissonant Whispers. It does 3d6 psychic damage on a failed wisdom save, and forces the enemy to burn their reaction to move away from you. Even if your enemy makes a save, they're still taking half damage on this one. Finally, we're grabbing Thunderwave. Not only does it do some damage, but also pushes enemies away from you, making it really helpful if you find someone in melee. So what's our game plan here at level 1? Be sure to toss some Bardic Inspiration to your party's tank. Consider spending that heroic inspiration on initiative rolls if you rolled low to be able to get up higher in the rotation and buff your allies sooner. And don't forget to ping your enemies with vicious mockery while everyone boos and gives them disadvantage. One key thing here too is the way the old inspiration worked versus the new heroic inspiration. The old inspiration only allowed you to re-roll d20s, attack rolls, saving throws, and skill checks. The new heroic inspiration says that you can actually re-roll any die regardless of the type of die, but you do have to take the re-roll. Adventurers, if you're enjoying this video, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps more adventurers find us. Now your bards made it up to level 2. Taking the fixed hit point increase means we're going from 10 hit points to 17 at second level. Expertise is now available instead of waiting till level 3. I'm going to apply it to Persuasion to now have a +7 in that skill, and to Perception to get myself a +5. At this level, Jack of all trades also kicks in, making any skill that we're not proficient in subject to half of our proficiency bonus. That makes all my -1 skills now 0, so I have nothing in the negative. We're also going to get another spell available, and I'm going to go with the command spell. Now the command spell says you speak a one-word command to a creature you can see within range. They must succeed on a wisdom save or follow the command on their next turn. You can choose any of these commands. Approach, to make them move towards you. Drop, which makes them drop whatever they're holding. Flee, which makes them spend their turn to move away from you by the fastest means possible. Grovel, which gives them the prone condition and then ends their turn. Don't forget, anyone in melee has advantage on someone prone. And halt, which is on their turn, they can't move and they don't get actions or bonus actions. This spell can also be leveled up once you have higher spell slots to affect more than one creature. Okay, up to level 3. Now our HP is at 24, and we're going to grab our subclass. For this epic build, we're going to go with the College of Lore. The 2014 rules had 2 subclasses available, Lore and Valor. Adds 2 more subclasses, Glamour and Dance. But we're going to go with the classic chart topper, College of Lore. You can grab 3 more skill proficiencies. I added Athletics, Investigation, and Stealth. One thing that appears to have been removed from the player's handbook is the ability to make medicine checks to stabilize dying allies. Otherwise, I probably would have chosen proficiency in medicine checks. And don't forget, we do have uses of healing kits. Also with College of Lore, we get Cutting Word. Now this gets used as a reaction, and it's always a good idea to have some more reaction options for your character. Cutting Words allows you to shave a d6 off of enemy attacks and skill checks. But in these updated rules, you can now do it after you know whether or not the original roll succeeded or failed. The 2014 version of Cutting Words said you could decide after you saw the result of the die roll, but not before the DM told you if it was a success or not. We're going to gain another new spell, and we're going to go with Enhance ability to buff the party. It says you touch a creature and choose Strength, Dex, Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma, and for the duration, which is up to an hour with concentration, that target has advantage on ability checks using that ability. Once you have some higher spell slots available, you can level up this spell to affect more creatures. Now that your bard has things like Lucky, Heroic Inspiration, Bardic Inspiration, and Cutting Words, you're controlling both sides of the D20 like a cosmic DJ. How does this bard build actually feel in play? By level 3, you're a charisma superstar here. You've got 9 skills that you're proficient in, and none of them are in the negative. You've got reliable rerolls every session, and both proactive spells like Fairy Fire and Sleep, as well as reactive tools like Cutting Words. You're the face of the party and the off-turn defender, all wrapped in one stylish performer's cloak. Standing ovations are optional but expected. Now let's go over some frequently asked questions and some alternative paths. If you really want some more melee action, consider dipping into one level of fighter for some heavy armor proficiency. If you're looking for more of a damage soak, you could go with Goliath over human, but mind that you're going to be losing that lucky feat. Maybe you're thinking College of Glamour, so you can use Mantle of Inspiration to hand out some extra temporary XP to the party? Sure, but we tuned this build for max skill and max support dominance. Remember, every bard is a remix. This one just happens to chart at number 1. So this is our level 1 through 3 bard powerhouse. I want to know in the comments down below if you would change anything about this blueprint. Go ahead and smash that like button like it's a mispitched bagpipe solo. And then you're going to want to click a video on the next screen. Do that and I'll meet you there. Be sure to drop your own bard builds down in the comments. And until next time, keep the dice singing and the party grinning.